The past year has shown many of us how quickly the grocery store shelves can empty, and how important it is to have an emergency food supply. Buying a fancy emergency food stash can be extremely expensive. But did you know that you can easily build a do-it-yourself emergency food supply without spending extra money? The simplest way to maintain a do-it-yourself emergency food supply is just to keep a deep pantry like Grandma did. In our modern world, we're so used to having everything at our fingertips. We count on being able to run to the store round the clock for anything we might need, taking for granted that it will always be there when we need it. The pandemic has shown us that that isn't always the case. Our just-in-time delivery system is fantastic for getting the freshest foods to our local grocery store shelves each day, but it's not dependable in an emergency. It's so important to treat the luxury of 24/7 grocery stores as just that, a luxury. It's great to enjoy the freshest groceries when we can, but it's vital to not depend on those luxuries always being there. Keeping a deep pantry like Grandma means you'll always have something on your shelves to eat, even if you can't get to the grocery store. It can add so much to your food security, giving you the peace of mind to sleep better at night, regardless of what is going on around the world. Keeping a deep pantry doesn't have to cost a lot of money. In fact, buying more of the things you already use allows you to buy groceries in bulk and save money in the long run. Stocking up on foods you already eat means you'll rotate through your do-it-yourself emergency supply, using things up before they go bad. It's a no-waste approach, unlike those fancy emergency food kits that will get thrown out eventually if you don't end up needing them. If your local store doesn't offer many bulk options, you can find bulk foods at Costco or look for a local restaurant supply store. Our closest restaurant supply has better prices than Costco and does not require a membership, making it a great place to stock up. Personally, my favorite place to stock up is Azure Standard. Azure is a natural foods co-op that delivers to most of the United States. They offer a large selection of conventional and organic foods at competitive prices. With Azure, there are no membership fees or shipping charges. You just have to be able to meet their truck when it makes its stop in your area. Some of the things Azure offers include non-GMO and organic groceries in bulk, regular and gluten-free flours, fresh organic produce, high-quality meat and dairy from small farmers, natural cosmetics, cleaning and baby products, herbal products, dried herbs and essential oils, a wide variety of nutritional supplements, non-GMO and organic animal feed, supplements and supplies, organic garden supplies, heirloom seeds, and vegetable starts. Having food allergies, we found Azure to be a valuable source of more affordable gluten-free flours, sugar alternatives, and dairy-free options. We've been happy customers for many years and couldn't recommend a company more highly. I'll put a link in the description box to check out Azure Standard. One more option for buying in bulk is to get in touch with smaller local farms. Often a farmer will gladly give you a discount for buying their meat or produce in bulk. Skipping the middleman can give the farmer a better price for their product, and you a better price than buying in the store. Sometimes farms will advertise bulk deals, but more often you'll just have to ask. We grow a lot of our own food, but still buy things we don't produce ourselves directly from local farmers we've gotten to know. You should stock up on foods that you like to eat, shelf-stable foods, foods you'll have a method to cook in an emergency, and a variety of food groups. When it comes to stocking up on an emergency food supply, the most important thing to keep in mind is that you should only stock up on foods you'll actually eat. I buy lots of dry beans, but I also cook with them regularly. I frequently cook them on my wood heating stove, so I know I'll still be able to cook them in an emergency. If you don't eat dried beans, there's no point in buying a lot of them. They'll most likely just end up sitting in your pantry. And in a true emergency, most of us will want to eat comfort foods, not something we don't even like. So when it comes to your do-it-yourself emergency food supply, stock up on things that you like and eat regularly. I like to keep frozen foods to a minimum. In case of a power outage, I'll be scrambling to use up, can, or dehydrate what's in my freezer before it goes bad. So I try not to keep more in there than I'll be able to deal with in an emergency. When it comes to stocking up, focus on shelf-stable foods, such as canned goods and a manual can opener, grains and flour, oil, and dehydrated foods. Don't forget about naturally shelf-stable foods, such as potatoes, winter squash, pumpkins, onions, and garlic. These will last months stored at room temperature. If you grow a garden, you can dehydrate or can your homegrown produce to add to your pantry stash. If you are a gardener, make sure you have extra seeds on hand so you can continue to grow your own fresh food to supplement what's on your shelf. Stock foods that you'll still be able to cook in an emergency. If the power is out, do you have an alternative cooking method? If not, then your emergency storage should primarily be foods that don't have to be cooked. Some ideas for foods that don't have to be cooked include canned foods. Although they might not be as good cold, they're still pre-cooked and fine to eat straight out of the can. Crackers, chips, cereal with shelf-stable milk, peanut butter, dried fruit, nuts and jerky, granola bars, and other snack foods. Some breads are shelf-stable, but this is more common with gluten-free bread. Finally, be sure to stock a variety from different food groups. For example, proteins, vegetables, fruits, and grain or potatoes. A balanced diet will help to keep you healthy in an emergency when you might not have access to a doctor. Look at these 4 criteria: foods you like, foods that are shelf-stable, foods you can still cook in an emergency, and variety. And make a list of the best foods to stock up on for your situation. Something I've found helpful when it comes to emergency preparedness is to shop less often. I make a monthly Azure order and go to the grocery store once or twice a month. This saves on time and has gotten me into the habit of planning ahead, knowing I probably won't be at the store again for a while. It's a natural way to get better at stocking up. There are 2 ways to get started with your do-it-yourself emergency food supply. If you're still living paycheck to paycheck, you can gradually increase your food supply by buying 1 item in bulk per week or per month, depending on your budget. This might be a 25-pound bag of flour, or a gallon of oil, or a case of your favorite soup. The next time you go shopping, stock up on another bulk item. If this is a stretch, consider giving up something not as important on your shopping list. Do you really need that candy? Or skip a luxury such as eating out or getting coffee so you can squeeze in some emergency foods. While this method takes time, over months and years you'll gradually increase your food supply. After each shopping trip, you'll be a little more prepared for emergencies. And in the long run, you'll be saving money by buying in larger quantities. The second way to get started is to do it all at once. If you're able to, you can be more prepared for an emergency starting today by stocking up on all the shelf-stable foods you normally eat. This is a great way to use your tax return, or you might be able to sell something you have laying around your house to raise some money and get started on your do-it-yourself emergency food storage. If you choose to go this route, you'll immediately be more prepared for emergencies. You can then maintain your stockpile by replacing the bulk foods you use up with your regular grocery budget. Just like the first method, you'll be saving money in the long run by buying in larger quantities. Personally, I've been shopping this way for years. I replenish a few of my bulk food items each month to keep my pantry full. Having a wood stove gives me a wide range of options since I can still cook when the power goes out. This is just a regular wood stove, by the way. I don't have a fancy cook stove or anything. I also grow a garden, and I keep a grow light set up inside so I have access to some fresh veggies year-round. I can testify as to how much peace of mind it gave me when the pandemic first hit our area. We were able to stay home for 6 weeks and avoid the crazy grocery store panic buying, leaving the food in the store for those who weren't able to prepare ahead. Stocking up before an emergency means that you don't have to be part of the mad rush and panic buying. You can stock up when there's still plenty to be had, rather than being tempted to take more than your fair share during an emergency situation. It's really a win-win.